Imagine a world where the greatest minds of antiquity gathered, a place where the sum of human knowledge was collected under one roof. This wasn't a fantasy, this was the great Library of Alexandria. For centuries, it stood as a beacon of learning, a testament to humanity's unquenchable thirst for knowledge. But its story is also one of history's greatest tragedies. Today, we are going to journey back in time to uncover the rise and fall of this legendary institution and ask the question, what did we truly lose when the Library of Alexandria vanished? Our story begins in the 3rd century BC in the bustling, multicultural city of Alexandria, Egypt. Founded by Alexander the Great, the city quickly became the intellectual and cultural capital of the ancient world. It was here that Ptolemy I, one of Alexander's most trusted generals and his successor in Egypt, envisioned something unprecedented, a universal library. His goal was ambitious, to say the least. He wanted to collect all the world's knowledge. His son, Ptolemy II, brought this vision to life, establishing not just a library, but a larger research institution called the Mausoleum, or Shrine of the Muses. The Library of Alexandria wasn't just a dusty repository of scrolls. It was a vibrant, living center of scholarship. The Ptolemaic rulers were obsessed with acquiring texts. They sent agents across the known world to buy scrolls. Ships docking in Alexandria's harbor were forced to surrender any books they carried. Scribes would then meticulously copy them, returning the copy to the owners and keeping the original for the library. This aggressive acquisition policy meant the collection grew at an astonishing rate. At its peak, it's estimated that the library held anywhere from 40,000 to 400,000 papyrus scrolls. That's an incredible number, representing a vast collection of works on literature, mathematics, astronomy, history, medicine, and philosophy. Think of the brilliant minds who walked its halls. Scholars like Euclid, the father of geometry, who likely wrote his famous work Elements right there, Eratosthenes, who calculated the circumference of the earth with stunning accuracy using simple sticks and shadows. Archimedes, the great inventor and mathematician, studied there. It was a place where ideas were born, debated, and refined. The librarians themselves were some of the greatest intellectuals of their time. They developed the first systems of cataloging and organized works alphabetically and by subject, laying the groundwork for how libraries operate even today. They created the first critical editions of texts, comparing different versions of a work to create the most accurate one. They essentially invented literary criticism. The work done here wasn't just about preserving the past, it was about forging the future. Without the scholars of Alexandria, our understanding of the ancient world, and indeed our own scientific progress, would be vastly different. So, what happened? How could such an incredible institution just disappear? This is where the story gets complicated, and the popular image of a single, catastrophic fire burning everything to the ground is, well, mostly a myth. The decline of the Library of Alexandria was not a single event, but a slow, painful death by 1,000 cuts, spanning several centuries. The first major blow came in 48 BC. Julius Caesar, entangled in an Egyptian civil war, set fire to ships in the harbor. The fire, according to some ancient writers, spread to parts of the city and may have destroyed a warehouse containing scrolls destined for the library, or possibly a part of the library itself. While significant, this was not the end. The library continued to function, and Mark Antony later reportedly gifted Cleopatra thousands of scrolls to help replenish the collection. However, this event marked a turning point. It showed the library's vulnerability to the political turmoil of the Roman world. As the centuries passed, the library's funding and prestige began to wane. The patronage of the Ptolemaic dynasty had been crucial. Under Roman rule, the focus shifted away from Alexandria. Budgets were cut, and the vibrant intellectual community began to scatter. Political instability and civil strife within the city itself also took their toll. In the 3rd century AD, the Emperor Aurelian, while quelling a revolt, destroyed the district where the main library was located. Any part of the collection that survived this was likely housed in a smaller, daughter library at a temple called the Serapeum. This brings us to the final, symbolic end. In 391 AD, the Roman Emperor Theodosius issued a decree outlawing paganism. Spurred on by this, Theophilus, the Patriarch of Alexandria, led a mob to destroy the Serapeum. This act was primarily about religious conflict, the destruction of a pagan temple, but the daughter library and its precious scrolls became collateral damage. This wasn't an attack on knowledge for knowledge's sake, but the result was the same. Whatever remained of the great collection was likely scattered, destroyed, or left to decay. By the time of the Arab conquest of Egypt in 642 AD, the Great Library was already a distant memory. The famous story of the Caliph ordering the scrolls to be used as fuel for bathhouses is now considered a fabrication, written centuries later. The library was already gone. So, why is this considered one of history's greatest tragedies? What did we actually lose? It's impossible to know for sure, and that's precisely the point. We lost it unknown. We lost countless works of Greek literature, including perhaps 90% of all plays by dramatists like Sophocles, Aeschylus, and Euripides. We have only a fraction of their output. We lost histories that could have filled in huge gaps in our understanding of the ancient world. Like the comprehensive history of Babylon written by a priest named Berossus. We lost scientific treatises that might have contained astronomical observations, medical knowledge, or mathematical theories that were not rediscovered for another 1,000 years. Imagine if we had lost the works of Plato or Aristotle. That's the scale of the loss we're talking about, but multiplied over hundreds of authors whose names we don't even know anymore. The destruction of the Library of Alexandria represents more than just the loss of books. It represents the loss of a certain kind of world, a world where knowledge was centralized, celebrated, and pursued for its own sake. It's a powerful cautionary tale about the fragility of knowledge and how easily it can be wiped out by war, political neglect, and ideological fanaticism. It reminds us that progress is not inevitable, and that the institutions we build to preserve our collective memory require constant protection and support. When we mourn the Library of Alexandria, we are mourning the loss of potential. We're mourning the questions we can no longer answer and the stories we can no longer read. It's a ghost that haunts our collective cultural memory, a reminder of what was and what could have been. The dream of a universal library, a single place containing all human knowledge, died in the ashes and dust of Alexandria, but it was a dream so powerful that it inspires us to this day in our own digital age of information. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey back in time. The story of the Library of Alexandria is a somber one, but it's also a powerful reminder of why we must cherish and protect our own libraries, archives, and centers of learning. If you found this video interesting, please hit that like button and subscribe for more dives into the fascinating stories of our past. Let me know in the comments what historical mystery you'd like me to explore next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.